While the life of a pro athlete certainly has its mountains of perks, it definitely has its fair share of drawbacks. Not being able to go out in public without being recognized, having a difficult schedule, and being denied some basic human pleasures. In today's video, we're going to be discussing one of the sporting world's more odd no-nos, and trust me, it is going to have you in stitches, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. First up, what it takes to be a true champion is not for the faint of heart. Australian boxer George Kambosos Jr. is the current lightweight champion of the world, and while that is easy to say, it's an incredibly difficult road to travel down and stay on. Obviously, having the physical ability to be a pro boxer is so incredibly difficult that only a select few can even break into the world of boxing, let alone get to the top of the chart in your weight class. You have to beat all of the competition and ensure that you do it in the most brutal way possible to ensure that the judges, the fans, and the world take notice of how unbeatable you truly are. It takes a great deal of physical fortitude, and George Kambosos has that in spades, as he has secured the lightweight title and plans on keeping that title for as long as he possibly can. But no matter how physically fit you may be, there is absolutely no guarantee that you will be the champion of the world. It also takes a great deal of mental fortitude that non-athletes would probably deem clinically insane. The lengths athletes go in order to stay on top of their game mentally is crazy, but that is the price to pay when you are at the top of your game and trying to get there. There are mental hurdles that some athletes never find a way to climb, so they need to do all they can to remain at the top, which can sometimes include superstitions and rituals needing to be completed at the same time and the same way as they were all the other times to ensure that they can perform at their best whenever they're called upon. And some athletes have some hilarious superstitions that I'm sure you won't believe. But Kambosos' superstition is one that I know none of you are going to guess. Kambosos is a fighter, not a lover, clearly. In an interview prior to Kambosos' fight against Devin Haney that took place on June the 5th, Kambosos was asked about his pre-fight rituals and what he does to ensure that he performs at his best every night. Kambosos has taken it upon himself to do all he can to make sure that his mind and his body are at peak shape prior to his fight, including a complete vow to celibacy. That's right, before any fight, Kambosos keeps his energy and his mental fortitude to himself and refuses to allocate any of that to his wife and their physical relationship. While this may be a detriment in the bedroom, it certainly has some validity in terms of performing at your best in combat sports. While it may not seem like it at the moment, or after the moment is done, apologies to my wife, intercourse takes a great deal of energy and mental capacity to complete. Well, once again, sorry to my wife. But having sex prior to an event that takes such a high toll on your body and mind can definitely spell certain doom for an athlete's winning record, and in this case, the chance to retain a world championship title. When he was asked about his decision to stay intercourse-free prior to his championship bout, he joked and said, "Well, I've got 3 kids already, so I'd probably be doing me a favor." It's called protection, Kambosos, figure it out. But as funny or as odd as this might seem, it's actually pretty common in combat sports. Many fighters choose to stay celibate prior to a big fight in order to stay physically ready and mentally prepared. Not only that, but keeping such an emotion and such a physical need at bay definitely fires an athlete up during their battle and most likely helps to ignite a fire and bring up some pent-up rage mid-fight, which obviously helps as well during the fight. When everything is on the line, only the very elite make it to the top, and doing whatever you can to stay at the very top of your craft is absolutely necessary, including giving up sex. Giving up sex must be hard, but it's definitely worth it for athletes like Kambosos. I can sit here and try to justify Kambosos' decision all I want, but I know there are some of you out there that cannot believe that athletes choose to do this. But let me use some of his own words to help you see the full picture. When Kambosos was asked why he chooses to do this, he was very eager to give his answer, stating, "I make sure that everything that pinpoint, it's the 0.1% that become the champion of the world, that gets this opportunity to defend in front of all these people in Australia at a mega stadium event." Clearly, Kambosos is dead set on doing whatever he can to stay at the top and knows that a fight like this is more than just about him. It's about his country and his people being represented by literally the best warrior that the nation has to offer. Kambosos will do anything to stay number one, which again lines up with the claim I made earlier. And it is that the focus and the drive that is required to be a pro athlete would be deemed insane by most normal people. And giving up sex just to be ready for a big fight may fall into that category. I mean, do people give up intercourse the night before a big meeting at work? No, they still do pretty much everything else they can to ensure that they are fully prepared for the big event. It's strange to compare big board meetings to pro fighters, but it is how people make a living, so why not? Kambosos continued explaining his decision to stay celibate by saying, "This was never given to me. No one gave me nothing. I had to come from the trenches, the local ground, but I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. If I have to sacrifice a little bit extra right now, so be it." Clearly, Kambosos knows that the amazing yet fleeting rewards that come from physical intimacy are nothing compared to the long-term success and fame that come with being a world champion. And he knows that every win will add to his legacy, which is more important to him than anything else. Kambosos is gearing up to go down in the record books. While all athletes want to be remembered even after they hang them up, as they say, it is not always meant to be for all athletes. Some athletes have some great careers, but as I mentioned earlier, they never get over the mental hurdles that stand in the way of becoming the best. Being the best and staying the best are nearly impossible, which makes going down as the best to ever do it the ultimate goal. If you're going to achieve the ultimate goal, you must see every second as an opportunity to stockpile achievements to bolster your legacy. Kambosos seems to know that better than any other fighter on the planet right now, saying that he will do whatever it takes to make sure that his legacy will be as bolstered as it possibly can be. When asked about what is driving him, he only had a single word to say, and of course it was legacy. Kambosos followed that up by saying, "Legacy is what drives me. My country drives me, but my kids as well, my family. My motivation comes from them, and showing that with hard work, dedication, discipline, that anything can be achieved." Kambosos' drive to ensure that he does all he can to get down at the modern GOAT is incredibly commendable, and is something that all of us should take notice of, especially the younger generation. And Kambosos thinks so too. He said, "And I'm the perfect role model, not only for my kids, but for all kids in Australia and in the world." Being the perfect role model for children, athletes, and people who have too many kids and can't seem to get it in their pants will certainly go a long way in terms of making sure that Kambosos' legacy is the best that it can possibly be. Hopefully, in 20 years, we can chalk up Kambosos' massive success in the 2020s to the fact that he did everything he could at any given moment to ensure that he went down as the greatest of all time. That's all we have for you guys today on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you all in the next one.